All right, so doing the YouTube intro while we wait for these cards to get rented. We just got done with a four-color shadow list with like territorial kavus and stuff. 3-2 with that one. Losses were pretty unexciting, but that's how it goes. So, secondly, today we're playing through some Grixis with Underworld Breach, the new hot tech everybody's curious about, and we're still trying to come up with our final opinion of it. So the question we're trying to answer with Underworld Breach is whether the card is a value piece of the deck or whether it's a win condition. And essentially, the reason that matters is if it's a win condition, then that's something that Grixis Shadow has really been missing the last few months. We have the ability to like play a bunch of these mid-range pieces and like value cards like Expressive Iteration and Ragavan and whatnot, but actually like winning the game can be problematic sometimes. So if Underworld Breach is a way to actually like close out the game, great. If it's just a value piece, then it falls in the same categories like Ledger Shredder, Expressive Iteration, Ragavan. Um, Please don't play Fable of the Mirror Breaker, but if you decide that's the way you want to go, it falls in that category as well of these cards that like prolong the game. They get you an extra card or something, and they're cool, I guess. Um, but they don't actually win the game, and that's been our big problem. Is like actually getting the game over with. So playing more games with Breach to try to see if it's actually winning us the game or not. Pair with Breach, we've got our typical shadow threats like 4 Shadow, 4 Channeler, 4 Ragavan, 4 Ledger, or 3 Ledger Shredder. Cut a Ledger Shredder for one of these Spell Pierces. Um, Sideboard, bunch of counter magic, random hate pieces. Pretty straightforward sideboard. But either way, let's just go ahead and jump in because people are watching the video. They've probably seen a Grixis match with Underworld Breach before and don't care about the full breakdown. They just want to see the gameplay. The different axes to go on in a pinch. You mean the breach? I mean, we've been going on the graveyard for a minute with like Croxa and stuff. Breach is just kind of like that draw 4 instead of make a 6/6 and play it out. Pretty good hand on the play. Turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 Channeler Thoughtseize, or like Channeler Hold Up Drown, something like that, depending on what happens. If opponent kills our Ragavan, we have turn 2 Channeler Bauble Thoughtseize. And like we'll have Delirium online with Thoughtseize, Bauble go into the graveyard, even if we don't actually need like the surveils. But some things to keep an eye out with the Underworld Breach plan is like we do want a lot of red mana because Breach and Lightning Bolt are very synergistic. So we want to make sure we're keeping an eye on that. Really good draw. Okay, so Noble Hierarch. My first inclination is attack first because I know they're not going to block. Blocking doesn't accomplish like anything for them. Problem with Croxa ended up being a million answers to a Croxa got printed, and then Luris got nerfed, so the mirrors went away. It's a pretty reasonable part of it. Yep, so no block. Blooming Marsh, so it's almost assuredly Yawgmoth. Let's go Dragon's Rage Channeler. Fetch and Shock a Blood Crypt. Bobble. I'll keep a shadow. Pretty close to that. They are drawing into a Strangleroot Geist. Another Strangleroot Geist, and Eldritch Evolution. So I think I want to take the evolution, or no, take the Strangleroot Geist, bolt the Hierarch. Okay. I take the Strangleroot Geist, bolt the Hierarch. They play the second Strangleroot Geist on their turn. I pass. They Eldritch Evolution, sack the Strangleroot Geist as part of the cost. With the Undying trigger on the stack, I can drown in the lock the Eldritch Evolution. Do I even want this shadow? I think I do, because I'm more than likely going to have to trade off this Ragavan for half of this Strangleroot Geist at some point. So shadow gives like a backup threat. Philosopher, good evening to you as well. So stack Undying trigger is part of the cost. Means we get to counter this Eldritch Evolution. Terminate's fine. No good attacks for them, so let's go ahead and clear off the Strangleroot Geist. I'm hitting for 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I want this. This makes the Shadow lethal by itself, and then the Chandler plus the Ragavan will be lethal. All of roots. Sure. Doesn't really do anything, but it's kind of free to play since I know what my next card I'm drawing is. They can cord for 1, but they'd have to tap the Hierarch to do it. They can cord for 0, but they have to tap the Hierarch as well. Again, because we got the Steam Vents, the Shadow goes to a 5/5, so the Shadow's lethal on its own, and then the Channeler and Ragavan are lethal. So, yep. Okay, Yawgmoth. Dress Down's good. Hearse is good. He's alright. Terminate's alright. I know I want Dress Down. Everything after that's kind of like whatever. But the first E, I think, is a lot better than the second. I can board out an Underworld Breach because of Endurance. Spell Pierce is pretty bad because they're usually boarding out some number of non-creature spells. Drown is meh, but Ragavan's probably worse than Drown, especially on the draw. If I board out those 6, I can board in. That's 8. Thoughtseize is bad if you're expecting a bunch of Veil of Summers. Like that. I think like one monkey has some value because if you happen to hit it in a position where you can kind of like clear out the board a little bit, it does a lot, but you never want a second one. Second one is like absolutely horrendous. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit. Young Wolf's fine. Really just trying to hit second land. You got it. Yep. Okay. Got a ton of mana, a bunch of stuff they can do. I really want to just terminate the Wall of Roots. If they have Veil of Summer, that's really bad for me. But I'm kind of afraid that they're just going to have, like, untap Yawgmoth. And that's really bad for me. So I think I'm going to risk it. All right. Why no attack with the young wolf? Why would you not attack with the young wolf? I'm going to go to second main phase before I Thoughtseize, so I don't like flip over Delirium and have to attack. In case they have like Endurance. Actually, I'm going to spin that. Oops. Want lands more than anything. Double Endurance. A scale from 1 to things we called. Called that. Take an Endurance. They go Endurance, Untap, Geist. Get a land. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep cord. I'm going to take one of these Endurances. And they don't flash in the other Endurance. It's just trying to get me in combat. Mm. So I could curse, exile something out of my yard so I don't have to attack. What's my play here? I know their hand perfectly. I can play Bauble pre-combat, so maybe I have a chance to like terminate endurance, flip over 2 card types I don't have. All right. So it's going to depend on what's under Scalding Tarn. And we might be able to make this like a pretty big blowout. Not like huge blowout, but endurance, yep. Target me, yep. Then we go terminate endurance. Scalding Tarn goes to the yard. Dang. I'm gonna keep Bloodstained Mire because it'll let me Bolt plus Hearse. Other core. Swap the Shredders for Consider, and I like it so far. That's a reasonable swap. All right. Their hand is double cord. I guess actually, is Shredder plus Bolt better than Hearse? Probably is. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go basic swamp, Shredder, Bolt the Wolf. Solve our scry first. Uh, I kind of want to just throw away the hearse, honestly. Probably not right, but like just playing double shadow next turn could really put the clamps on them to find something. Go first. Shadow. Weigh that to keep on Holy Heat. The nice article about the metagame from Carson. Nothing crazy new, but up to date with what's going on in Modern. Let's see what Carson's got to say. The Shadow, 16th in record weighted metagame share. Yeah. Pretty much like right in line with what Goldfish has. I think Goldfish might have Breach a little bit lower. Yeah, it's got like Burn higher up, but I think that's because you just have so many people playing Burn. Be interested to read more of that. Portrait Harbor, sure. The important thing is I am not going to be the first one to activate this hearse. Like, I don't want to activate hearse and then have them respond with, like, Cord for a Yawgmoth. Doesn't accomplish anything for me. And I can just attack with the Channeler because they're dead in the air to the Channeler plus the Shredder next turn. Yeah. Undying creatures actually go in the graveyard before the trigger. Yes. Yes, they do. So the trigger occurs from the battlefield. It doesn't occur from the graveyard. So something like that 2 mana black creature from Future Sight that like great cute, yeah, cards in the graveyard lose abilities, does not stop Undying. But they do go to the graveyard and then while the trigger's still on the stack. This is Cord for a, I guess, Endurance. Alright, so we have to kill the Endurance with this trigger on the stack. He's kind of whatever. Yeah, Yixla Jailer. That one. Their hearse or in general graveyard hate is effective if done when they die, right? Yes. So the catch is like you have to use your graveyard effect in response to the undying trigger, because if you like go to pop your Nihil spell bomb or whatever and they respond by courting for Yawgmoth, then they can undying go crazy and you don't have a chance to really do anything. So you do have to be careful of timing. Like here, eating in response to the undying trigger so that it doesn't come back. Which that was like a really weird timing on that. The EE on zero kill Dryad, it does not. So EE specifies destroy each non-land permanent. So it can't kill the Dryad Arbor. That's worst case scenario. So if they, yeah. And I want to eat something because I want the unlicensed hearse to be another potential lethal attacker. They don't have multiple undying creatures, so it doesn't really matter if they like stack something here. If they have another Court of Calling, like I'd be super, super dead. So that's kind of whatever. Okay. Um I mean, that's not nothing. Back at them. Stack this to Yawg. Playing around Bolt. Back Peatland's fine. Think I want to drown in response to this. So they can't like get a creature. I go to drown. They sack Geist in response to it, or sack the token in response to the drown. Removal spell. Worth a try. All right, so let's go. Can't let Grist ultimate. I've got to go one at Grist, one at them. Don't want to go down to 3 because of this Strangleroot Geist. Don't think adding Gigantha to my hand really does anything here. Okay. All I need is like a removal spell, another creature to crew the hearse. Something like that. Oh man. The pain. The pain. Gotta attack at Grist again. Attack at them. Seiju my EE. So now they've got don't think there's any way that I can sequence this. I can eat Wall and Dryad Arbor. All they have to do is like block with. I guess no, I just eat Wall, Dryad Arbor. I don't even have to eat them, do I? Okay. No. So we got this if they draw dead, right? We mountain, add Gigantha. They draw dead. This is not we got this. We have a reasonable shot. Add Gigantha. Go. Yep. Much easier if we just find a removal spell. I gotta go for that, right? Like, there's no way play Gigantha, let them double chump is better than an iteration. We'll go drown to hand, reach to the bottom, bobble to exile. Ditch Gigantha, because this way I can attack with the Shredder for a little bit more. Noble Hierarchs, whatever. Am I playing another iteration? Does the second iteration do anything for me? I don't think it does. I don't think I need it. Kristen, you. I'm just gonna drown the Strangleroot Geist. I guess this kind of falls apart if they've got Veil of Summer. So I should have countered the Ignoble Hierarch. This gives him 2 draws to find an answer. Or not really 2 draws, but yeah, I should have countered the Ignoble Hierarch. That was bad. Shouldn't have won that one. Should not have won that second game. Yeah. Not much to say about that one. Just bad decision making for me. The clock got to me. Shredder did some good work there, for sure. I wouldn't say like all the work, but enough to get like a thumbs up that match. Being able to keep the Grist at bay. Boo. Boo. Down with Tron. Michael, what deck do you run in the most? Into the most? That one. I guess I'm taking a stirrings and like spell piercing the other stirrings. I'd rather pierce the stirrings, hope they whiff on land, than pierce the Karn and let them have Tron. That also works. Okay. Shadow's pretty good. So let's go Delta to hand, Bobble to the bottom, Shadow to exile. Play out our Shadow. Gotta hold on to this Drown in the Lock to counter this other Ancient Stirrings if they don't have Tron here. That's fine. Put more cards in your graveyard for me. All right. Everybody's favorite lightning bolt yourself. I guess we can iteration first. Shadow to hand. Some fetch land to exile. Eight. Myself. 11. Another shadow. Go. Yeah. Yeah. Moon, Flusterstorm, Pierces, Turox. Okay-ish sometimes. Don't mind bringing in an EE in case of ensnaring bridge. Like you can deal with the Karn relatively okay, and that'll unlock EE afterwards. But it's not like a perfect plan. Poured out some of the slow stuff. On the draw, I probably don't want the second Turok. It's probably a bit better on the draw. On the play, though, like turn 1 Ragavan, turn 3 Kick Turok. That feels pretty good. And it's terrible. 3 shock lands. Return 4 before we can get Shadow online. Shredder's not looting anything. Way better. Throw. Like drown in the lock away. Need to tell these Tron players that they're not allowed to have maps anymore. Ban expedition map. Yep. All right, so I think I'm just going Shredder here. I guess I could iteration looking for like Thoughtseize or Alpine Moon. Better. Shadow to hand. Flusterstorm to exile, so I think we're not just like holding up Spell Pierce. And let's hope we get to Spell Pierce a Karn. Okay. Not ideal, but sure. Yuck. Yuck. Warping. Plays Warping Whale. Lucky we didn't keep that Flusterstorm. We'd have been in trouble. Oh, we'll Spell Pierce this. Actually, I shouldn't have Spell Pierced because now I don't get a Ledger Shredder trigger. So that was not the greatest choice. Maybe it works out. Depending on what their payoff is here. If they don't have a Veil of Summer. Are we, as the kids would say, doing it? I mean, power plant doesn't matter. Gross. Why? Why does it have to be double Ugin the Spirit Dragon? Anything else? Why double Ugin? Would have taken literally any other card off the top there. They should have played the Ugin first, because now they give me a Ledger Shredder trigger. And I could hit like another Spell Pierce. guess if they don't pop Relic, then I've got what's it called? Isn't out? Dang. Underworld Breach would have been an out. Double Ugin. Guess we get to kill this at least. Double Ugin. Why double Ugin? First Ugin's bad enough. Two of them. Like, I think we had a lot of reasonable outs to everything else. You know what, opponent? I do not want you to have that card. If I had seen something on top like another Tron land, I probably would have just hard cast the Ragavan and let them have it. But Ugin the Spirit or Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger off the top is not the same as a Tron land. Tron's a nightmare. Tron's a nightmare for me. Like, your average Shadow player apparently is like 95% against Tron, and it's a buy. For me, that is not the case. All right, Blast Zone and Sundering Titan. So, little Turok's better on the play. Trade out Dress Down for a Drown just for the Shadow means. Oh, wait, why am I 61 cards? Thought I just traded out a. Thought I just traded out a dress. No, I guess I brought in Dress Down. Yeah, I brought in Dress Down and Turok. Whoops. Oh well. I mean, I ate Tron for dinner with main deck Blood Moon and sideboard Necromentia. Yeah, that'll do it. Is a tried and true success story for beating Tron. Ghost Step. Around here, we like to call that Oh No Stone. I'm gonna bend that. Going for the Delirium. Delirium as well as make Breach a little bit better. Whiff on a Tron land. Blast Zone, sure. You. Hallelujah. Ditch a shadow. Show me a land. Show me a land. Show me. I guess it could be worse. Yeah! Yeah! Get out of here! What I'm talking about. Alright. So, if our opponent hadn't given us this, I guess we're going breach, flip over, basically whatever we see off Dragon's Rage Channeler. Unless it's a land. Because then I can bobble from the yard, draw into the land with Shredder, discard like Turok from my hand, bobble again, shadow, and attack for 3, 7, 8, 9, make it a 2-turn clock. And once I make a treasure, I can hold up Spell Pierce and all that. So, yeah, do that. Why is that one? Nope, nope. Wait, taskbar. Okay. Nothing phenomenal, but got cards and spells and stuff. Oh. Damn it. Did not. You've never killed a Dragon's Rage Channeler in your life. Never, not a single time. Mm. Right. Never had a lightning bolt in your life. You don't even know what lightning bolt is. Nice. Also nice. Let's go Bolt, Ledger Shredder. I want to do this first before I play the Channeler so that I get Shredder triggers. They do not get Shredder triggers because they are our enemy. They don't deserve Ledger Shredder triggers. But we, being the good guys, deserve Shredder triggers. Deserve all the Shredder triggers. It was looking like counterspell, but I can't really like do anything to play around counterspell. I didn't want to seize first because I'd give them a Ledger Shredder trigger for free. And there's like no reason to give them the Shredder trigger. If I bolt first and they don't have the counterspell, I can seize. If they do have the counterspell, then I can readjust and decide if I even want to cast the seize. But I can bolt first. If they counterspell, I seize. They draw and discard off the Shredder in response to the seize, and I get to seize what they Shredder triggered. But if I had thought seize first, then I would have had to have like waited on the bolt. Because worst case scenario would be I thought seize them, and then I go to bolt the Shredder, and they discard something. They draw, grow the Shredder, and now bolt's dead. I think I'm actually gonna sit back this turn and not swing. Am I? Nah, swinging's fine. The clock. If they do find like an unholy heat for the rag or for the channeler, it's not like the end of the world. Down to Murktide. Blech. Blech. All right. Find me a land. I can channeler plus iteration. Just looking for land plus unholy heat. That would be like dream scenario. I can iteration first, looking for unholy heat. I can attack first, and then like attack with just channeler, and if they block, go breach, bolt the regent. That's a tough one. I can't iteration plus breach. So I think I attack first and see what they do. If they block, I think I just go breach. If they don't block, then I think I go channeler iteration. Drown doesn't do anything. Heat, I'll keep on top so that I can draw and discard it to the shredder. Throw the shredder. And we'll go iteration to hand, Ragavan to the bottom, Watery Grave to exile. Play that tap to say go. Okay. okay. Not okay. Guess it could have been worse. Total worse. So their hand is Ragavan Unknown. My hand is really hope Breach resolves. So do I want to start on Breach? Like if Breach resolves, game's over. Let's start on Breach. Yeah. All that, ditch that. Thoughtseize to hand, Tarn to bottom, Steam Vents to exile. We're already gonna get to block here, so alright, OP. Draw dead. Damn it! Ah, not drawing dead. Million draws I would have rather seen him have than that. I know they have another Ragavan. They're just looking for Delirium, or they've got Delirium. Are they just looking for an Unholy Heat, or do they have the Unholy Heat? Another Murktide? We have a chance for lethal here. Channeler, for the love of all things just and holy, don't let me down. No, I can just add Gigantha. I'm an idiot. Stop being stupid. Now it doesn't matter. Get out of here. Terminate. I really hope I get lucky with this. Okay, whatever. Get out of here. Okay. Stop and think about your plays sometimes. It helps. Terminates in. Dress down. Spell pierce. Flusterstorm in. Hearse in. Maybe an EE. Grounds are pretty bad. Board out some number of Thoughtseize on the draw. Ragavan's worse. Maybe I want to board out a single Shredder. Not Shredder, Underworld Breach. Or not a single breach, because they're going to be bringing in unlicensed hearses too. It's not crazy to see a Murktide deck with like Relic of Progenitus. Field Giganta. Gotta ship this back, right? It had a second land, like second land over Shadow or something. It's a snap keep, but no second land, no snap keep. Why on earth does my taskbar not want to like hide like it's supposed to? Okay. Probably go like Steam Vents into basic Swamp so I can kind of play around Blood Moon. Or no, I can't get basic Swamp. Expressive Iteration. I guess we're not playing around Blood Moon. I'm planning to peek on our upkeep. A little look-see poo at our hand. Be a sweet one. It's been a minute since I've had an opponent peek. All right. In a lot of my shadow lists, um, I'm playing basic island, and this is kind of like the reason why I think the mountain might be better in a world with Underworld Breach, just because of the bolt possibility. But when like last league we played against 4 Blood Moon decks, so it really makes me want to lean into the basic island a bit more. There's no way I'm casting Hearse into 2 open mana. They really like this upkeep stop, don't they? So, all that time we lost game 1, we're making it back. Back with a vengeance. Do 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 do. Guess it was my turn. Whoops. Sorry, take back the doo-doo-doos. Double unholy heat. Hold me. Twenty stops turn 2 is the only way to play. I mean, not wrong. Thoughtseize, good pickup. So let's go basic swamp. Thoughtseize. They did have counterspell of sorts. So we're going to take the spell pierce and go ahead and land the unlicensed hearse. Or attempt to land the unlicensed hearse. We'll get rid of consider. In case they're running like Snapcaster. Shredder. What? What? I'm guessing they meant to cast Murktide and accidentally cast Shredder. That's my only guess here. Maybe they like tap the 2 blue for Murktide and we're like going to. Maybe opponent thought he can discard a card with Shredder while casting Murk. I have no idea. Like, my only guess is that this was supposed to be Murktide. Like, maybe they clicked what they thought was Murktide in their hand and were going to tap out and then exile a couple cards from their graveyard. And they clicked Ledger Shredder on accident, tapped 1/2. It automatically put the Ledger Shredder on the stack because they tapped on it and just didn't get to like finish tapping the rest of it. And that's my guess. But Amplum, I like your explanation as well. Like, all right, I announced that I'm casting Murktide Regent. I trigger my Ledger Shredder, draw, discard this Consider, then exile my whole graveyard, put the Murktide on the battlefield. Bunch of level 2 judges in the chat just like, that's not how you resolve a spell. That's not the proper steps and sequencing. Right, I'm sorry. Give me. You can't use LED mana to cast your Wheel of Fortune. Oh. S. Smith. I would love to play first. Real jiggy. Keep it. See, this is like what I'm always terrified on our side, where my opponent's just got like a turn 1 Ragavan, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a little unfortunate, but whatever. I'll kill it on my main phase, and then they go like turn 2 dash a second Ragavan. And I'm like, oh, that's one more Ragavan than I thought you had access to. Burn. Burn, 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 burn. Okay. I could dash Ragavan, play Channeler. I could play Ledger Shredder. I kind of don't mind just like Ragavan plus Channeler, not dash. But I guess if that's it's like better if they've got Eidolon. I guess that's kind of a consideration, right? Searing Blaze. Doesn't give me Delirium. Doesn't give me Delirium at all. So, Shadow to hand, Watergrave to exile, Shadow attack. Burn, 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 burn. Mishra's Bauble. We're going to take the trade here. Feels bad, but gotta do what you gotta do. Keep it. Ditch. We'll just ditch the iteration. I'm not living long enough for most of these decisions to matter. Really need to find like a drown in the lock. Drown in the lock or bust for the most part. Rift Bolt to my face. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rolled up. They could have like lightning heal. No, they can't have lightning healers. They don't have the prerequisite mana. And GG. Upkeep, we unholy heat this to get our scry or surveil before the draw. That's perfect. Kill you, draw for turn, attack, blah, 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 blah. All right. Good game one. Got pierces, fluster, storms. I like a Turok. Some people don't. I do. Sanctifier on Vec, unfortunately, is an evil, evil, evil consideration. Put out some of this slow stuff. See what happens. Reveal our Pokemon. Opening hand is fine-ish. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Pass a turn. Stop it. Like just down versus burn. Deal with Sanctifier and fast shadow kill. It's like okay if you've got the shadow part of it, but if you don't have the shadow, then it doesn't really do a whole lot. Not saying it's bad by any means, just I don't think like it dealing with I don't think dress down just for the purpose of dealing with Sanctifier is good enough. Lava Spike in this economy. Are we going like Shock dash Ragavan play Shadow, or am I going Fetch Shock dash Ragavan play Shadow, or am I going Fetch Shock Ragavan and Shadow? I don't mind Fetch Shock Ragavan and Shadow actually. Ragavan Shadow. Suspend a Rift Bolt. Okay. Let's go Polluted Delta. Fetch up a basic Swamp. Terminate the Swift Spear. Back in with both of our gentlemen. Had to be Searing Blaze. Oh man, had to be Searing Blaze. Banking on that treasure. Sweet, sweet treasure. On Eidolon. No! Why'd you play the land? Why are you baiting me like that? Been debated. Alright. Good hand, good hand, good hand. Not a good hand. Away hand. This is fine-ish. This is definitely a please, in the name of all things just and holy, don't have a sanctifier on Vec kind of hand. But can't beat everything. Do appreciate when opponents just like point rift bolts at my face. Maybe they choose to like not cast it off suspend. Just like leave it. Big bucks, no sanctifier. Big bucks, no sanctifier. Okay. Let's think about our life total here. If I go fetch shock to 10, shock to 8, play out double shadow, hold up spell pierce, I'm presenting 10 points of damage. There's not a lot of incentive for them to go for it. So I kind of think I need to play this slow. Maybe like shock, play out one shadow. No. Now that I've got the Ragavan, I probably need to be a little more on top of it. Get a healthy medium here. Keep the guide. If they decide to like bolt a shadow in response, that's a win for me. Not gonna shock in the Blood Crypt. I'm gonna save that for a turn. it's kind of a back and forth of like, I don't want them to know how much damage I can do to myself here. Absolutely spectacle a skewer on you though. And then here, if they cast like a Boros Charm into turn, I'm 100% countering that. But like, I don't want them to know that I can present lethal this upcoming turn. If they don't know, they're little less likely to like throw off a bunch of spells or make some crazy play. What do we got? Could have like a Path to Exile. Nope. Ooh, fun one. I always love the Shadow versus Burn matchup. Like, I think that's my favorite matchup in all of Modern. It always feels pretty razor's edgy. All right, 4-0 going for the 5-0, so I guess we got to do a prediction. Let's see if I can even remember how to do these. I believe it is here. Start a prediction. Start prediction. Will we get this trophy? And predictions live. So if you got channel points and you want to burn them betting that we won't get the trophy, prediction is live now. Either, yeah, we'll totally get this trophy, or nah, Mike's a scrub. No way in heck are we getting this trophy. Get your votes in while you can. So we'll give it just a minute. If you need to see the deck list while you think about your answers, here's our deck list. I don't even remember what we've played against this league. Rhinos, Burn, Murktide, and Yawgmoth, I think. So, reasonable start to the league, regardless of how the 5th round goes. And we'll give it like 10, 15 more seconds and then go ahead and hop in. Looks like nobody's wanting to waste their channel points, so I don't blame you. All right, let's go ahead and hop in. Bored. We need to get into a match. What do I think we're going to play last round? It'd be pretty fitting to see, like, Hammer Time. I feel like I run into Hammer Time at least once every league. Otherwise, if we want, like, an easier attempt at a trophy, like, nothing I really want to play against. Storm, like, OG, Past in Flames, Baral, Electromancer Storm. Maybe Charbelcher. All right, final boss, Jimbago. Chandler, Drown, and eventually a Breach. Guess we keep this. Not thrilled about it, but it's like a functional 7 where I'm kind of terrified to go into like an unfunctional 6. Ravioli. Is the matchup against another 4-0 deck or is it a random opponent? So it's usually somebody that's got like a similar-ish record to you. So it could be someone 4-0, it could be someone 3-1, 3-0. Kind of any of those are somewhat reasonable. Chuck in a steam vent. So that would lead me to assume that they've got like a spell pierce, maybe an unholy heat. But we're gonna get down Ledger Shredder. So there you go. Jamago's 2-0. 2-0 has the second bolt. Yep. Gross. Yep, we're dead. On the play with a Ragavan. We didn't have a removal spell. Or I guess we had a removal spell. We had a drown, but I just had double bolt. Double bolt plus our thought seize. So this Ragavan's looked pretty solid for them so far. I think a little bit of a sequencing mix up there. Could have played the Shredder, then the Channeler, then the Bobble. Or I guess if they drew the Shredder off the drew the Shredder or drew the Channeler off the Shredder, that's fine. So they know about Underworld Breach. I don't think they know about the mountain. Okay. Chandler has to attack. We do have potential outs here, depending on what there's or what's in their hand if they attack. Third lightning bolt. That is not optimal for us. So I think this is going to come down to and the unholy heat. Okay. Never mind. 4 pieces of spot removal. Double Ragavan, double Channeler. Or double Channeler, 1 Ragavan. So our out was if they didn't draw this unholy heat, if we found a lightning bolt, then we could kill them by if they attacked with like both of these, we could bolt here, attack with shadow. But triple lightning bolt, a little too much for us to overcome. And we're going to be on the play. Chandler's a bit better on the draw. Ragavan's a bit better on the play. All right, let's not get triple bolted out. A little bit of a slower starting hand. Yep. Or their Jeskai. So soon this means they've got a spell pierce. Oh, I guess I have to kill this Ragavan at some point. Help me. Good draw. I'm gonna say we could fight over like a dashed Ragavan there. I hate that I had to use 2 Terminates on 2 Ragavans. we're gonna be greedy. We're gonna try to hit the land. Nice. So bobble, handler, land. Duration. I don't actually know if they're on Murktide. Third Ragavan. Okay. I need to be doing whatever they're doing. Triple bold into triple Ragavan. Rough for the home team. Okay. Let's start with Breach. Or not Breach, Iteration. Go. Terminate. I probably want Flusterstorm. Yeah. First to the bottom. No. Terminate to the bottom. Hearst to exile. Say go. Trying to set up like a good breach next turn. Flusterstorm will kind of help protect it. Or if they do this of dash Ragavan and I bolt it, then I can protect this bolt from a counter spell. Ragus Slayer. Not by choice. Just because they keep showing up. Alright. What do we got? Channeler. So if I go Channeler into Breach, all I can really do is like Channeler Breach, draw a bunch of baubles. Is that good enough? Otherwise, I can Breach, Iteration. Let's try Channeler Breach. Why not? We're here for a fun time, not a long time. Really care about Bobble or Bolt. Alright, so Bobble, land, Bolt. Life's too low for Thoughtseize. They're drawing a Bobble. Okay. Pierce, terminate. Terminate. think I care about dress down here. Exile other bauble land, one of the iterations. And I think I want to end this on iteration. I don't have to right this second. I can go like 1, 2, 3. Holy heat. Sure. Gonna past the point of me caring about that. All right. So now if I go bobble 1, 2, 3, bobble goes back in the yard. I can't iteration, so I need to iteration from here. 2, 3. One, two, three. Now I can actually get another card. Bobble's just better than iteration. Lets you have man up next turn. You're drawing 5 cards. I don't know if I would say just better. Like, I know my opponent's not drawing a land, which is huge for me. I can see 3 selected cards instead of just another unknown card. And if they don't play anything that I can Flusterstorm or whatever comes off the top, like, doesn't matter right this second, then holding up mana doesn't matter. And I just missed out on an opportunity to, like, see more card selection. Like, right there. Opponent didn't do anything. So I think we got the better end of that deal. Let's dash Ragavan. Tap correctly. Play Shadow. I don't really care if they, like, respond to Shadow with kill Ragavan. Just to be able to crew the hearse. Ledger Shredder. I think I'd rather play Shadow. They go for like an Archmage's Charm. I can Flusterstorm. Bolt me, sure. Flusterstorm that. I will not be paying 2 for that 1 copy of Flusterstorm. So for that breach turn, I think to me it's like a risk reward thing. Like opponent's already shown me triple Ragavan. So how afraid am I of them having like a 4th dashed Ragavan right there? They'd already shown me a bolt. I wasn't dead to double bolt. I had their entire graveyard nuked, so like Murktide wasn't scary. This is fine. They're 2 cards short of bolting me out. Like if I were them, I would have scooped here. I would not be showing me breach. Like I get that they have, I guess they could find the bolt and that's something, but I would not be showing breach there. Alright, so we'll just go like whatever. It's like now I know breach. And if they're on breach, they're probably not on Murktide. And so if they're not on Murktide, Drown in the Loch just got like exponentially better for me. Is OP on Jeskai Breach or Prowess just tuning back in? I think Jeskai Breach. The only creatures we've seen are Ragavan Channeler and Ledger Shredder. So it doesn't appear to be Prowess. That was worst case scenario. Really like to have seen them not have Ragavan on turn 1. Some of these lists are hybridizing with like 2 Murktide and 2 Breach. That sounds terrible. Do I like Breach better than Kroxa? Yes. Yes, I do. Playing out the Shredder here, hoping it'll like dodge a counter spell. They've had a bunch of bolts every game, so I'm not like shocked that they've got a bolt here. But yeah. I need a land off the top pretty bad. Maybe we can pull out of this with a land. But just another indicator of like why Ragavan on the play is so oppressive. Like it just puts so ungodly much pressure on your opponent to have something right then, right there. Plus, I do not think their Ragavans have missed off the top of my library. Game one, they hit Thoughtseize into Ledger Shredder, hit the Expressive iteration here, Bobble on turn two. All right, Red Source. I think that's going to be all she wrote. Got like a Spell Pierce. Show me the Pierce. Not a Pierce. So if I draw Shadow and they've got literal nothing. Nope. All right. We're too far behind. Way too far behind. So lose game 3 of the trophy match. Feels bad. Oh, what do we think of the league? Like, other than that match, everything felt good. That match, it felt like, felt like opponent had every single answer I didn't want to see when I didn't want to see it. But that's magic. Uh, to answer like Odek's question, yes, I do like Breach a lot more than I've liked Kroxa. I think even like the value breaches feel a lot better than the 2 mana make you discard 1 Kroxas. Ledger Shredder is still meh. Chandler's still meh. Like, if I could improve on these 2 creatures somehow, then I wouldn't mind the deck. But at the same time, like these are two of your biggest enablers for Breach. So like if you want Breach to be good, you got to play these. But how it goes, I suppose. Sideboard. We didn't really see any like. We saw dress down matchups, but we didn't see dress down. Didn't really see a Turok matchup. Saw Tron. Terminate was great. Hearse was pretty good. EE's like getting lower on my list. If you play against a bunch of rhinos, then I think EE's great. But at the same time, we've got like 9 counter spells for rhinos. So taking out shredders for considers and plunge into darkness. Probably a fine approach. Like anything in those slots, I think would be somewhat reasonable. Obviously, Bird is good for loading up the Breach, but Prowess playing Breach doesn't have anything other than DRC. Yeah, but they also just have like a ton of proactive 1 mana spells. Like they're going to be your deck with Considers and Lava Darts and um, all that stuff. Mutagenic Growth, whatever. But we're going to be the deck that's running Expressive Iteration, Drown in the Lock, Thoughtseize, Shadow. Their aggressive proactive spells are a lot more aggressive and proactive than our aggressive proactive spells. All right. Looks like